My parents literally showed up at my workplace yesterday, after 10 years of silence, and they didn't even come to apologize. They came to ask for money to bail out my brother, the brother they kept when they literally threw me away. I was restocking motor oil when I saw them walk through the door, for a second. I didn't even recognize them. My mother looked way older, thinner. My father had gray hair that totally wasn't there before. They just stood there looking completely lost. Then my mother spotted me. Our eyes met. She tried to smile. I set down the oil cans and walked over. My hands weren't shaking. I felt nothing, just completely empty. Okay, so let me back up. I'm 18 now. My name is Sarah. I work full-time at my uncle's auto repair shop in this small town about 2 hours north of where I grew up. I live in the apartment above the garage, which is actually pretty cool. I'm starting community college in the fall, automotive technology program. My life is actually good now. Quiet, stable, normal. But it wasn't always like this. Not even close. I was 8 years old when my parents literally put me in Riverside Children's Home. That's what they called it, a children's home. Not an orphanage, not foster care. A nice name for a place where parents dump kids they can't handle anymore. My early childhood was chaos. My parents were super young, 23 when they had me. Dad worked construction when he could get shifts. Mom waited tables at this dingy diner. We lived in this 2-bedroom apartment that always smelled like cigarette smoke and old food. I don't remember them being happy, ever. Just yelling, doors slamming, mom crying in the bathroom, dad disappearing for days. I remember being hungry a lot. The kind where your stomach hurts but you learn to ignore it. School was literally impossible. I couldn't focus, forgot homework constantly, fell asleep in class because I couldn't sleep at home with all the fighting. Teachers sent notes home, parents yelled at me, then forgot about it, then it happened again. Same cycle over and over. By 2nd grade, I was getting in trouble constantly, talking back, refusing to work, fighting with other kids. I wasn't even a bad kid. I just didn't know how to ask for help. One October day, right after my 8th birthday, Mom picked me up from school early. Didn't say where we were going. We drove 30 minutes to this huge brick building, Riverside Children's Home. She told me to come on. When I asked where we were going, she didn't answer. We sat in an office with Mrs. Chen, who had kind eyes and this super soft voice. She asked me about school, friends, what I liked to do. I answered quietly, having literally no idea what was happening. Then my mom started talking to Mrs. Chen about how they couldn't do this anymore. They'd tried, but I needed more than they could give me. I'd do better here, with structure, with people who knew how to help kids like me. I looked at my mom. She wasn't even looking at me, just staring at her hands. When I said mom, in this tiny voice, she still didn't look at me. Mrs. Chen asked questions about our situation, about dad, about counseling. Mom gave these short answers. Can't afford it, he's working, it's too much. That's when it hit me. They were leaving me here. I started begging, grabbing Mom's arm, promising I'd be better, I'd be so good. I'd do homework, wouldn't get in trouble. She finally looked at me with wet eyes and said this was for the best, I'd be happier here. They had people who could help. I was crying, begging her not to leave me. She stood up, whispered she was sorry, and just walked out. Left me there. I tried to follow, but Mrs. Chen stopped me gently, holding my shoulders, saying it was okay. But it so wasn't. I screamed, tried to run after Mom. Mrs. Chen called for help. 2 staff members came. They didn't hurt me, just held me until I stopped fighting. I spent the next hour in Mrs. Chen's office crying. She didn't try to stop me, just sat with me. When I finally went quiet, she showed me to a room I'd share with 2 other girls. They seemed nice, tried to talk to me. I couldn't answer. That was my first night at Riverside. I was 8 and thought my life was over. The first months were the absolute worst. Barely ate, barely slept, fought with other kids constantly. Destroyed my room twice, completely trashed it. But the staff were patient, never hit me, never yelled. Just waited. Slowly, things changed. I had a routine. Wake up, breakfast, school, homework, dinner, free time, bed, same thing every day. Boring AF, but predictable. And somehow that helped. My grades went from F's to C's to B's. I made a friend, Maya, who'd been there 2 years. She showed me how things worked, how to stay out of trouble, how to talk to staff. Literally a lifesaver. My parents visited twice in 6 months. Awkward visits where we sat in the common room not knowing what to say. They asked about school. I gave one-word answers. After the second visit, they stopped coming. Mrs. Chen said they were going through difficulties, needed time to get stable, then they'd come get me. I stopped believing that after year 1. I was at Riverside for 2 years, turned 10 there, learned to read better, control my anger, learned not everyone would abandon me if I made mistakes. Then Mrs. Chen called me to her office with good news. Uncle Robert was approved as my legal guardian. My dad's older brother, who I'd met maybe twice. He lived 2 hours north, owned an auto shop, had space for me. When I asked why he wanted me, she said he believed every kid deserved a real home. 2 weeks later, I moved in with Uncle Robert. Small apartment above his shop, smelled like motor oil and coffee. He showed me my room, bed, desk, window overlooking the street. Told me it was mine, decorate however I wanted. Rules were simple. School, homework, help in the shop, don't lie. Asked if I was hungry, I was always hungry. Made spaghetti. We ate in silence, not awkward, just quiet, peaceful. That first night, I lay in bed waiting for something bad to happen. For yelling, for him to change his mind, take me back. Nothing happened. Fell asleep confused but relieved. Life with Uncle Robert was so different. Up at 6:30, actual breakfast drove me to school. After school, I'd walk to the shop, do homework in the office, then help, sweeping, organizing parts, cleaning tools. He didn't talk much but taught me things. Oil changes, tire pressure, using wrenches. So patient. When I messed up constantly, he'd just show me again. No yelling, no anger, just repetition until I got it. After 6 months, something shifted. I felt safe for the first time ever. Uncle Robert wasn't leaving, wasn't sending me back, wasn't giving up. Once, while changing brake pads, I asked why my parents didn't want me. He stopped, looked at me, explained it wasn't that they didn't want me. They didn't know how to take care of me. There's a difference. Some people love their kids but don't have the tools to be good parents. Maybe dealing with their own problems, maybe never learned how. Didn't mean I did anything wrong. When I asked if he talked to them, he said Dad called sometimes asking how I was. He'd say I was fine. But Dad never asked to talk to me. That hurt so much. But hearing it out loud made it easier. At least I knew the truth. Over 8 years, I saw my parents exactly 3 times. Cousin's wedding at 12, Grandma's birthday at 14, Uncle Robert's Christmas at 16. Each time they'd ask how I was, I'd say fine. They'd nod. That was it. I learned they had another kid, Daniel, 4 years younger. Met him at Christmas. 12, shy, quiet, barely looked at me. My parents seemed different with him. Mom smiled more, Dad talked about his basketball games. They looked like a real family, the kind from TV that I never had. Didn't feel jealous exactly, just hollow. Like watching through a window I couldn't touch. Uncle Robert noticed. Driving home, he said I got dealt a bad hand but was playing it better than most would. He was proud of me. First time anyone said that. I literally cried. Graduated high school 2 months ago. Top 20%. Got into automotive technology at community college. Uncle Robert offered me the apartment, said I could work full-time and go to school, fair wages. When ready, I could take over the business. The whole business. Been working full-time 2 weeks when my parents showed up yesterday. Mom reached to hug me. I stepped back. Nope. She said hi all shaky. I asked what they wanted. Dad said they needed to talk about something important. I told them I was working, make it quick. They explained Daniel was in trouble. He arrested, juvenile detention, $8,000 bail they couldn't pay. They thought maybe I could help since Daniel was my brother. Wait, what? $8,000? Dad clarified. Loan, not give. I asked why they thought I'd have that. Mom said Uncle Robert mentioned I'd been saving, working full-time. Dad had called him asking about my money. I felt anger rising. Real anger. Daniel was my brother, the one I'd met 3 times? The brother they kept when they threw me out? They said it wasn't like that, but I wasn't having it. Got louder, didn't care customers were looking. Told them exactly what they did. Put me in a home at 8, visited twice, disappeared. I lived there 2 years wondering what I did wrong. Uncle Robert had to rescue me. Mom cried, saying they were struggling, young, didn't know how to help. I was difficult. I cut her off. I was 8, a kid, and they gave up. Dad got defensive, saying they thought I'd be better off, best decision they could. So I asked about Daniel. Did they consider giving him away when he got difficult? Or did they actually try? Silence. So loud. Asked what happened. Mom explained through tears. Drugs, assault, he said self-defense. They believed him. Couldn't afford bail. I asked where Daniel got drugs. More silence. Asked again. They looked at each other. Away. Oh my God. That's when I understood. They were still using. Were using back then too. That's why they couldn't care for me. Always broke. Dad disappeared for days. Dad claimed 3 years clean, but I pointed out they weren't clean raising Daniel. Put him through the same thing. Now he's in jail because of it. Mom begged. Daniel's my brother, needs help, they need help. I looked at these strangers who shaped my childhood, then vanished. No, I said. They argued, but I wasn't listening. Not giving money, not bailing Daniel out. They chose drugs over both of us. Don't get to show up asking for help now. Dad called me selfish, said we're family. I literally laughed. Uncle Robert's my family. He showed up and stayed. They're just people who gave birth to me. When Dad started, after everything we've done, I lost it. Everything they'd done, abandoned me. Now abandoning Daniel. Mom begged, said Daniel's just a boy, scared. Something cracked inside. Not anger, something softer. Asked Daniel's age, 14. Same age when I saw them at that party looking at him like he mattered while I was nothing. Took a deep breath, told them to give me his information. Detention center, case number, everything. Mom's face lit up thinking I'd pay bail. No, I'd visit, talk to him. If he wanted help getting away from them, I'd help. That's it. They didn't understand. I explained. giving Daniel what Uncle Robert gave me, a way out if he wanted. They said I couldn't take their son, not taking him, offering a choice. The choice nobody offered me. They argued, called me cruel, said I didn't understand, didn't listen, walked away, back to stalking. They left after 10 minutes. That night, told Uncle Robert everything. He asked if I wanted to help the kid, said maybe if Daniel's actually trying, not like them. Uncle Robert reminded me Daniel's 14, still figuring things out like I was. I turned out okay because of him. He said no, because I wanted to. He just gave space for it. Made me think about saving someone if I was strong enough to do for Daniel what Uncle Robert did for me. Asked what if I couldn't? What if Daniel didn't want help? Uncle Robert said then at least I tried. More than our parents ever did. Visited Daniel 3 days later at detention. Sat across from each other in the visiting room. He looked smaller, skinnier, had a bruise on his cheek that made me want to cry. Said hi. He didn't answer, just stared at the table. Introduced myself properly. Sarah, his sister, we'd met a few times. He said he remembered, quietly. Asked how he was. He laughed bitterly. In juvie, how did I think? Fair point. Sat silent a minute. Told him Mom and Dad came to see me, asked me to pay bail. He looked up, asked if I did. When I said no, his face fell, said figures, nobody gives a shit. Explained I didn't pay because it wouldn't fix anything. He'd go back to same house, same situation, same problems. He asked why I was there then, leaned forward, asked if he wanted help. Real help. Not bail money, not temporary fix. Actual help getting away from them. He stared confused, so I told him everything. How at 8 our parents put me in a children's home, couldn't handle me. 2 years there. Uncle Robert took me in, gave me real home, taught me to work and live. Haven't lived with parents since 8. His eyes went wide. They never told him. Of course not. Probably said I was difficult, chose to leave. My fault. He nodded slowly. Told him it wasn't my fault. Just a kid with addict parents who couldn't care for themselves, let alone children. He said they're clean now, voice uncertain. Asked if they really were. Silence told me everything. Explained I couldn't get him out now, but when he's released, if he wants different life, Uncle Robert and I could give him a place, job, chance to figure things out without drugs and chaos. But he had to want it. Long silence. Then he asked why I'd help when I didn't know him. Because you're my brother, I said, and someone helped me when I needed it. Maybe I can do the same for you. Tears ran down his face. Wiped them quickly, whispered he was scared. Told him I knew. I was too. Visited 3 more times over 2 weeks. Each visit he opened up more about home. Finding Mom's pills in bathroom, Dad disappearing, feeling like drowning with nobody caring. Like looking at 8-year-old me in a mirror. Court date came. Assault charge dropped. Kid admitted Daniel defended himself. Drug charge stuck. 6 months probation. Mandatory counseling for his age and clean record. Release day. I waited outside with Uncle Robert. Parents there too, running to Daniel, hugging, crying, saying they missed him. Daniel stood stiff, didn't hug back. Dad saw me, face hardened, asked what I was doing there. Said giving Daniel a choice. Mom pulled Daniel closer, insisted he's coming home. Is that what you want? I asked Daniel. He looked at parents, then at us, hands shaking. I want to go with Sarah, he said quietly. Mom couldn't believe it. Daniel repeated louder. Wanted to go with me, didn't want to go home. Dad said he had no choice, was 14, coming home. Uncle Robert spoke up, already talked to probation officer. If Daniel wanted to live with adult sister and her guardian in stable environment, they'd approve. Paperwork started. Parents stunned. Said we couldn't do this. Couldn't take their son. Told them not taking him, he's choosing. The way I never got to. Dad's face went red, yelled about destroying family, how ungrateful we were, their sacrifices. Didn't listen. Just looked at Daniel, asked if sure. He nodded. Then let's go. Walked to Uncle Robert's truck, parents still yelling behind us. Daniel didn't look back. That was 3 months ago. Daniel lives in the apartment now. We share the space. He's in school, getting good grades, works in shop after school. Uncle Robert teaching him same things he taught me. Fixing cars, being responsible, trusting someone will stick around. Not always easy. Daniel has nightmares, gets angry, pushes boundaries, tests if we'll give up. But we don't. Uncle Robert and I keep showing up, being patient, being there. Last week, while cleaning the shop, Daniel asked if he'd be okay. Looked at this kid who was basically me 10 years ago. Scared, broken, trying to figure out if life could be different. Told him, yeah, he'd be okay. Takes time, but he'd get there. Asked how I knew. Told him because I did. And he's tougher than I was. He smiled. Real smile, first I'd seen. Parents tried calling first month. Didn't answer. They stopped. Don't know if they're clean, together, if they think about us. Honestly, don't care anymore. They had their chance. 2 chances. Failed both of us. But Daniel and I, we're gonna be fine. Got Uncle Robert, got the shop, got each other. Got something our parents never gave us. A real home. Sometimes people ask if I think about reaching out to parents, rebuilding relationship, forgiveness. Tell them truth. Some relationships aren't worth saving. Some people don't deserve third chances. Sometimes best thing is walk away and build your own family with people who actually showed up. Uncle Robert showed up, Daniel's showing up, I'm showing up. That's enough. More than enough.